This is Andy Peralta for ID Boxing. We are here in Liverpool, and I'm joined by former WBO World Cruiserweight Champion Johnny Nelson. Johnny, you keep looking at your phone. Am I disturbing you from something?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just looking at the time. It's time to eat in a minute, so I've got to behave myself and not eat on camera. So we've got to do it right.
I was going to say, there's been numerous interviews we've done where you've been eating, but hopefully today is not one of them. We're here for Liam Smith, Hassan Moukounia, and of course the undercard. Tell us about that main event, though, Johnny. What do you expect from it?
I think the main event, I think especially the last passing comment from Liam to Hassan, which was remember sparring. And these guys are familiar with each other. Liam has showed that he can be a world champion. He's got world championship cojones and mentality. He knows what it's like to be there. That professionalism of respecting the opponent that's in front of you and performing to your best, that's something that he's had. That's something that he wants again. Hassan, he wants to try and pickpocket. He wants to try and get in there and hopefully get the top side or be underestimated by Smith. Smith's not that stupid. I think he's a very smart cookie, knows what he's got to do, especially boxing here in Liverpool as well. I'd be very surprised if this fight goes a distance past 10 rounds. I think his opponent will probably try and work on nervous energy the first 3 rounds, and then after that I think Smith starts to close it down with educated pressure.
Liam was a big favourite heading into this fight. Hassan, a very late arrival over into the country. How much of a benefit do you feel that will be for him, and would it be silly for people to kind of reflect on the sparring that they had together so many years ago?
Well, remember, was it Sam Egginton came in 2 weeks' notice, got the stoppage, nobody expected it. So again, don't take things for granted like this for granted. He knows what dangers he poses. Liam doesn't make those dumb mistakes. You know, I think he's one of the ultimate professionals where he thinks, I know what I've got to do. I know what I'm capable of doing. I'll not underestimate this guy. I'll not make what could be an easier fight, a harder fight. So I expect him to get the job done. He's a true pro, yes, man. He's a true pro. He knows what he's got to do.
What next for Liam if he is successful? Do you want to see him moving towards world honours or look towards a Eubank Junior Ben winner?
Well, that's what he wants. That's what he's shouting about. That's what everybody's looking at, especially on his team. It's a case of what opportunities arise. And of course, you know, if you've been champion once, you know what it tastes like. And so your ambition is to do it again. I don't think he's here to make the numbers up. He's here with an intention of getting a crack at the world title again. Had it once, tried again for it, didn't get it, it was unsuccessful. He believes he has the ability to capture it again.
Dan Aziz, Shakan Pitters, a fight which many feel can steal the night. Your thoughts?
So you remember when Hagler boxed Hearns, and I'm not comparing the fight to Hagler and Hearns. What I'm saying is the size difference, the style of the fight. Hagler had to draw Hearns into a tear-up because Hearns had those long levers. He could box him off long. He was classed as a banger. Hagler was short, squat, but very fit. This is what Dan's got to do. He's got to talk Pitters into coming into him and having a tear with him, because that makes the fight more even for him and suits him better. He needs to work on getting this fight done inside the distance. Pitters needs to try and keep him long, keep him off, let him walk into those long looping uppercuts, which is the obvious shot for him. The longer the fight goes, the better it suits him. So this is, people are talking about this being one of the most exciting fights on the bill. Because of that size difference, you've got a former champion against a current champion. That expectation, that fitness. These guys are professionally courteous to each other, but when the bell goes, they know exactly what they've got to do.
Tasha Jonas looking to become a unified champion. What do you expect in her bout?
Tasha had a chance to fight next week on that great show down in London, but she chose to fight here. To have this fight here, this unification fight here in Liverpool, in front of her own fans. I'm in yours. Yes. And she has the opportunity to do this in front of her own fans, and she chose that. You know, to me, that's honourable. To me, I think it's good on. It's a tough fight. A tough fight. So if she's going to get there to become a unified champion, why not? Because her career's been up and down. Now it's up again, and again to achieve this when people said she should walk away and she was washed up. What a great gift to give your supporters.
Adam Azim and Fraser Clark, two exciting prospects on the British scene. I say prospects, but Fraser's obviously getting on with his career now. But just your thoughts on what you're hoping to see from both of them tomorrow night.
Fraser's very cool in regards to the pace he's working at, but he needs to be consistent. He needs to get the fights rolling on. With the age he's at, he needs to make sure he capitalises on all the fight. For Adam, you look at the condition of him. He trains like he's fighting for a world title. So therefore, physically, he's always on point. He's spot on, and he needs to be like that way because he'll blast through domestic level. He's talking about fighting for a British title already. These are bold statement and bold lines to cross. And so in doing that, he's doing exactly the right thing. Prepares himself like a true pro, expects the results, and then everything that we think is a big deal will be nothing to him. So getting a British title, next step for him. Getting a world title, so nothing step for him. And some guys they make that their goal, their line, their finish line. That's not his finish line. So as long as he keeps learning, keeps getting the job done, keeps preparing and having the same professional mentality that he's got, he'll do all right.
Johnny, moving away from his card, obviously some other topics to touch on. A couple of weeks have passed since Anthony Joshua's defeat to Alexander Usyk. I just want you to take me back to it, some time to reflect. What did you make of it?
I think, I'm not saying Anthony Joshua boxed the best I'd seen him box. He boxed with intelligence, he boxed with focus, he boxed with desire. And I've not seen that in a while with Anthony Joshua. He just went in there with a guy that's got his number. That was just too good for him. And the frustration, which unfortunately outshone the performance, that's what people were talking about. I understood what he was trying to say. He's trying to say, look, I started at 18. You know, this guy's been boxing since he was 5 years old. Give me credit for what I've done. And I get the frustration because he wanted it that much. So all the grief I was probably getting at the beginning of the week in regards to my statements on Anthony Joshua's mentality, if he lost, I was asked if he lost, it came out at the end of that fight because he doesn't want to be a backing dancer. He don't want to be an also run. He wants to be champion. Now it must have hurt his heart after that fight, and now he's got to think he's got to create a new motivation in his head. Because he's still got a lot of fight left in him, he's got to create a new motivation in his head to think, right, what's my motivation? What's my goal? Why am I doing this? And that's what I was trying to get to, because he's one of those guys that he'll do things for a purpose. He's a true pro, and he wants to be champion and stay champion. But when there's a man in your division, has your number, it's just hard to be motivated to get past, to try and get past the line you're going to struggle to get past.
The speech itself, something you briefly touched on there, Johnny, and how things boiled over. It's obviously been a hot topic since then. What do you take away from it personally, having seen AJ kind of boil over like that? There was a lot of critics for his team, thinking maybe they could have stepped in. Do you think it would have been as easy as that?
Listen, man, the man wore his heart on his sleeve. The frustration of everything achieved, he probably thought, he's not getting credit for fully. Now, he's a fan favourite. He's the money that's in the game now is because of him. And like it or not, but he's basically saying, look, you've got everybody else around there. I'm getting criticised for the achievements I've had. Look at where I've come from. He's trying to point in your face. I started boxing at 18 years old. Look at what I've done. Do you not realise how much of a big deal this is? I get it. And people in the game, if they're honest, will say, you know what, this kid's done well. Regardless of how limited you think he is or isn't, he's done well to achieve what he's achieved. And this is what he was trying to get out there. He was frustrated because he wanted it so much. He left no rock unturned. And so I understand the frustration. His team, everybody was upset. Emotions ran high. And again, I'm quite sure the next day, they probably think we should have done this, we should have that. Hindsight's, that's hindsight. We could have done and said anything afterwards. I get where he's at. It's a shame that it overshone his performance. It's a shame that Usyk probably took that shine away from Usyk's win because he didn't have a chance to say whatever he had to say to the public, to the world about his achievements and how much it meant to him. But you had two guys that were in there that believed they were the best in the world, and someone had to lose, and unfortunately it was AJ.
What do you think's next for him? Eddie Hearn said that he'd like him to fight in December and then 3 times next year. Do you think that would be the right move, or do you think he maybe needs a little break?
That's Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's his promoter. Eddie Hearn's his friend. Eddie Hearn will do what's good for business for him and as far as he's concerned, AJ. For AJ individually, I'm thinking from a fighter's mentality now. I'm thinking remember what I said in the beginning of that week in regards to AJ. He's got to rustle up that motivation. He's got to rustle up the reason why he's doing this. He's got to rustle up. He's got to get it in his head. Does he want to be an also-ran? Will he train as hard? Will he commit that much time of his life to something, to a goal that's even further out of reach? Now, if Usyk's saying, you know what, if I don't fight Tyson Fury, I'm done, then you know what, he's rejuvenated. He's thinking, right, I'm back in the mix. But if he stays in the mix, AJ always knows that guy's there, and he wants to be the best in the world. Does he think he can get any better? Does he think he can improve on what he did? I don't know, but I do know that he did everything possible. His camp did everything possible to get the best out of him. His best wasn't good enough. It's that simple. It's not being disrespectful. His best wasn't good enough. So the problem is, what is there to motivate AJ? So even though Eddie said, I want to get him out X, Y, Z, I want to do this, that, and the other with him, it's about motivation. You know, does he want to be a backing dancer? Does he is he that kind of guy? I don't think he is. I know he's got a lot of fight left in. I don't think he is. So this is for him to decide what he wants to do. And right now he's hurting. Right now his heart's hurting. Right now his head's hurting. Right now his team are thinking, right, how are we going to deal with this? And because he has a lot of talent and there's a lot of fight left in him, but you need drive and motivation.
Fury Usyk being discussed currently. Do you think we'll see that next?
You know what? It's a case of Fury says one thing and does another, so we can't really make plans until plans are actually made, signed, seen, and delivered. You know, he's either not fighting, he is fighting, he wants to fight half a bill. Usyk saying, if it's not Fury, I'm out of there, I'm done. You know, so he's probably fighting fire with fire. We can all dream. We all dreamt about AJ against Fury, which if AJ boxes on, you know, he's not a dead deal. But I just struggle to get excited about it until the deal's been done. Because Fury's trying to decide what he's going to do. Today's boxing, tomorrow's not. So we've got to wait and see. I think there was a deadline of Monday, so again, you can't blame people for not getting giddy excited. It's like the boy that cried wolf. You're either fighting or you're not, and so we just got to wait and see.
Final one, Johnny, just next weekend. Shields Marshall and Mayo Baumgardner. Talked about both of them. Start off with the top.
Wicked fight, wicked bill. I think I gather 12,000 tickets have gone, so I'd heard. But you know what? I'm so looking forward to that fight. I think Shields Marshall. I think Marshall she reminds me of an old throwback fighter. She can fight. She can box as well as fight. Shields. She has the character, she has the engine, she has everything going for her, but does she have the punch power and ability to beat Savannah Marshall? I don't think so. So then it's going to be down to who wants it the most. And Savannah seems to be able to press those buttons on Claressa in regards to the win that's over, her response to how Clarissa's being loud and in the face. I'm going Marshall. I'm going Marshall, and that's just how it is. But I think it'd be a wicked fight. The whole bill, wicked bill.
Mayo Baumgardner.
Pardon?
Michaela Meyer and Alicia Baumgardner.
Yeah, another fight, another good fight on the bill, and I just think if you can't get there, you've got to watch the fight, because there's so many fights that could actually steal the limelight there, and it's historic. This is that bill, and I'm quite sure there was many fighters clamouring to get on the bill. I've got to rate Natasha for actually choosing to fight this week instead of next week, but she's showing loyalty to her fans. But again, the whole bill itself, wicked.
Right, Johnny, I'll leave that there now. Leave you to enjoy the rest of your day and your time here in Liverpool. Thank you for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
No problem.